So wherever you are, I hope that you're in a spot where you can just pause for a second. Just stand still, have a seat, whatever feels right. And as you are ready, let's just allow our eyes to close or allow our gaze to soften, whichever works for you. And we're going to settle in with just a couple of breaths together. So just a slow breath in. Then a big sigh out. A slow breath in. And a big sigh out. And as we're collectively as well as individually pausing together, I would invite you to notice what's going on in your head and in your heart. See if they are the same. See if there's any disconnection between how the heart and the spirit are feeling and the chatter that's in your head. And I encourage us to do that because yesterday I was really sitting with this idea of transcribing things. And when we record things, how there's so many amazing features with AI and so many cool tools and things that are available to us that we can speak into something. And then this computer, this program, takes all the words we've said and puts them on paper. It doesn't, of course, have our tone, and it doesn't have the inflections in our voice and the pauses and how we speak, but it does capture the exact words that we are saying. And I thought, what a beautiful representation of truth. As I speak into this recording device or into this program, it will give me back the words that represent exactly what I just said. And then I thought, from a spiritual position, from these contemplative practices that we engage in, what does this transcription feature look like there? So when you think about coming to meditation, or you show up on your mat, or you spend time in nature, or whatever these practices are that really feel good and peaceful, that fill up your soul with calm, gentle energy. If we were to take a transcription of what we say each day and how we go through the world, would it match and reflect what's really in our heart and our soul? Or is what's coming out different? There's this integrity piece, I think, with these programs that as I speak, and I actually tried it yesterday, as I speak into this, and it begins to just put my words onto this electronic page, I was amazed at how perfectly it represents it. And then I thought, does the world know that I spend time in meditation? From the way that I speak, the way that I act, the way that I show up in that world? Or is what's being transcribed out of my mouth, out of my words, my tone, is it different than what I know to be in my heart? You see, this meditation practice really is about calming and quieting the mind, most definitely. But it is about getting to the core of who we are, and that exists deep down into our spirit, into our soul. The mind is just this tool that does so many amazing and wonderful and sometimes troublesome things in the day, but it doesn't represent who we are. And our words are a reflection of one of those. So we have to decide, as people who gather to meditate, as people who decide that pausing and coming into the present moment is important, we have to decide, how do we ensure that the way that we speak and the way that we move through the world represents what's in our heart and our soul, and not the busy, angry, frustrated, oftentimes chaotic chatter that's in our mind. And I think for most of us, we'll find that there's sometimes a disconnect. And we hear things coming out of our mouth, and we hear conversations that we engage, and we realize that that does not represent the core of the essence of who we are. But it does represent some kind of chatter or emotion that's landed in our head. And so it doesn't mean that the head is wrong, and it doesn't mean that the head is doing anything that's not right. It just means that we've got some alignment issues. And if we really want our speech and our tone and our words and our actions to represent this right here, this moment of meditation, of pause, of practice, then we need to sit with these alignment issues and work on them. If your car wasn't aligned, you would take it to someone. You wouldn't just go through life that way. You'd say, there's something not right as I drive, and the alignment's just off. And you would pretty quickly get that fixed, because that's not a good way to go through the world, driving on tires that are not aligned. So then why do we do it in the ways that we move through the world? And it doesn't mean that everything we say is about, this is what I did in meditation, or this is what I'm learning as I read. What it means is that the gentleness, the kindness, the compassion of this practice bathes the words as we speak them. It informs the thoughts as we think them. And it inspires our movement in and around this world. And so I'd ask you today, this transcription that comes out as you speak, is it transcribing what's in your head, or is it transcribing what's in your heart? And if you're at a point in your practice in your life where those two things are very aligned, then I encourage you, keep nurturing that. Keep it as a priority. Keep nurturing it. But if you are like most of us, and there's some misalignment, start noticing. Notice when you get up from meditation and then that first little trigger, that first little thing that comes into your path that could be frustrating or annoying. Notice how you respond. Is it coming from your heart and your soul, representing this practice, or is it coming from your head where there's chatter and chaos and oftentimes confusion? This practice is one of awareness, and it's not just awareness when we sit here, it is awareness throughout the day, and so just be aware. It's not saying that we're doing anything wrong. It's just being aware if there are parts that are not aligned. How do we get them back into alignment? And so I encourage us as we go through this day, just take and think of this idea of the transcription. Do my actions to my words, are they a transcription of the chatter in my head? Or are they a transcription and a representation of what is deep, deep in my heart? So let's enter this day as our eyes open, ready to live differently, ready to live aligned. And so I wish you a day of gentleness, a day of peace, a day of calm, and I will see you next time. Namaste.